video, I'll show you how to close a site pane selectively. Now, as you see over here, this is a model driven app, and this is the area where we can specify site pane. So we can create multiple site panes over here, and then we can selectively enable or disable or maybe close the site pane. Now, first of all, we need to create a site pane. Now, in order to create a site pane, I've already have a set of code over here which allows me to create a site pane. So what the site pane does is basically it will give you a an area to work upon. Now that area can render entity list, it can render web resource, it can contain a record, it can render web resource, custom pages, dashboard, search, and all those different type of components. Now we will just make use of entity list for time being in this example. So let me pick up a piece of code and create multiple site panes. So I will not write a JavaScript web resource and then attach it to a model driven app. Rather, I will go into the developer tool. So within the developer tools, I will just first uh, create this code. And as you see over here, one side pane is created. Now let me paste the code again. I will change the ID and maybe I will create a different web resource or refer a different web resource, and it will create another side pane. As you see, there are two side pane created. Now I'll create a third side pane, and as you see the number 0013, 00163, 00173, and I will this change the reference of signal low, medium, and then I'll keep it as high. Now I have created three different side panes. Now remember the ID: airline 00173, airline 00163, and airline 0013. So let me pick up this ID, copy, and keep it for my reference. Let me run this, and as you see, there are three different side panes created. Now, what if we want to selectively close a side pane? Now, for that, what you need to do is, like, if you have say more than 5 or 6 or 10 side panes over here, and if you want to selectively close that side pane, there is a code which you can use, or maybe if you just click over here, it will automatically close the side pane. But if you want to do this dynamically, then we need to write a piece of code. Now let's write a piece of code over here. So let me remove this code and just type in the piece of code to first get the reference of that side pane. Now remember, we have just copied the ID, so I'll just paste the ID over here, and this is the ID side pane which we need to close. So for that, let's use a const or a any variable. So let me call this as const pane equal to xrm dot app dot side panes dot get pane, and I will paste the value, the ID of that pane which I need to close. Once I get that reference, I will just check if pane, then pane dot close. Now you can optimize your code in such a way that you can just check if pane not equal to null. If pane not equal to null, then you can close the pane, right? So you can go ahead and do that. Now let me pick this code and run this. Now what should happen? This particular pane should go away because we are referring to airline 00173 in our code. So airline 00173. Now let me paste this and press enter. Now, the moment I do that, this particular pane has disappeared because we have given an instruction explicitly to get rid of this pane. Now, if we run this code again, then what might happen? It will throw an error. So let me put the errors as well over here, and let me paste this code, press enter. And now what has happened? It hasn't found this file, found this ID of the pane, because this pane does not even exist, right? So that's why, irrespective of you type in that code, it will not run because it hasn't found that ID. Now you can see there is something called as a copilot icon over here. Now you haven't defined that, but If we just go into the developer tool over here and then navigate, you will find the name of that copilot pane, and the name of that copilot pane is microsoft.copilot.pane. So if you write or refer to this particular ID, it will close the copilot pane as well. So let's try that out. So microsoft.copilot.pane. Go into the code, and instead of this, just type in microsoft.copilot.pane. Copy this and go to your develop console, clear all the value, paste, and then once I execute this code, this piece of component within the screen should disappear. This one, the copilot one. Press enter, and this copilot has gone. Now, as you see, we already have two more side panes over here. Now, if you want to say, let's assume like you have another side pane. So let me create some multiple side panes over here. So let me copy this code and let me add multiple side panes. So now we have two side panes. So we'll create another side pane. So we have third one, paste it, we'll create four side panes. Then we'll create another side pane. Remember, you should keep the ID different and you will create multiple side pane. Now, what if I want to close all the side pane at once and not go through that uh, by referring to the name and then closing the side pane? Now, for that, yes, you need to write a loop. So I will just write a piece of code over here. So close all side pane. Now, if you want to close all the side pane, let's make use of a variable and call this as where all panes equal to xrm dot app dot side panes dot get all panes. Now you need to get the reference of all the panes which are available within that particular page. Now once you get that, you just refer to the variable all panes dot for each. So you're gonna execute a for each loop, and within that, you will call a function. So I'll call a function, and within the function, I'm gonna pass the pane. So individual object getting passed for that pane, and simple code pane dot close. So this is a piece of code which we need to run. So what we are doing over here, first we are iterating through all the panes that are available within that particular page, and then using a for each loop, I'm just passing the pane object and then closing the pane. Right, so let's copy this and go into your code over here. Now as you see, there are 1 2 3 4 5 pane, and you can navigate to all the panes. Let's go to the developer tools, clear, and paste the code, and then once I type enter this code, this all will disappear. So let me press enter, and as you see, all the panes have been disappeared, and now you got a clean slate, you got a more realistic, and you can work alongside via model driven app. So that's it, folks. This is how you basically close one pane, close copilot pane, close multiple pane at once. Thanks for watching.